Welcome to this fifth video of China's getting back to normal post-corona. We're going to talk specifically about traffic, and we're in Beijing, the busiest city in the world almost when it comes to traffic jams. What is it today? How does it look like? We're going to take a Chinese Uber called Didi and visit DHL. We're going to see how the streets are filled or not with people, and this will give us a good impression of how far China is along when it comes to the recovery.
Hi, this is the first time I'm taking a Didi after a while. And first of all, you might see I'm wearing a mask, which is not quite usual in the normal days, but I would like to show you more. If you take a look of the front seat and back seat, there is a protective film between the driver and I. And here, Didi is saying that why they are doing this, and we will get through this together. Didi loves Beijing. And here you can also see the date, April 3rd, and it's saying we have affected this car. Friday afternoon, 4 p.m., I am on the Ring Road, just passing the most busy area in Beijing. It will be way more busy at this time, a lot more traffic and people on the road, but as you can see, we are still far from getting back to normal.
Now what's very clear is that Beijing is not back to normal. You don't see the traffic jams that I'm used to every single day in Beijing. So no, it's not normal yet. Now Temperance was taking a Didi, and Didi is the Chinese Uber. It's twice as big as all the car sharing companies in the world together, including Uber. It's only like 7-8 years old, and they have a valuation of $60 billion. This is the company that knows most about mobility anywhere in the world. Imagine how much their revenue just shrunk just in that period because people weren't taking taxis anymore and drivers couldn't get around. So this was terrible for them. But they did three things really remarkable during that period. During the crisis, they actually make sure that everybody was protected. You saw that from the driver's protection in the car, but also these drivers didn't have to pay back their leases of the cars during that period, so they could survive through that difficult period. Wasn't the government helping them? It was Didi helping their actually customers and the people driving for them. This was very important. Second thing is, everybody in the medical industry, like doctors and nurses that were helping to cope with the crisis, got free rides from Didi. So it was really showing their heart and their compassion. And this was hundreds of companies in China did the exact same thing, really to show that they care. And that now, after the crisis, today is really helping them to rebound quickly. And this is what we should think about in the West as well. The third thing, which Didi did really well, was to switch completely into a new industry, which was the delivery of groceries, because that was an opportunity, of course, overnight. And so now they're a delivery company on top of the fact that they're a car sharing company. Now, it wasn't just the Chinese companies that cared for the Chinese consumers, although there were thousands of them. It was also the foreign companies. Starbucks helped all their partners to not have to actually pay back so they could survive through this period, because all the Starbucks got closed to protect the people from not getting the virus. And also companies like DHL helped consumers to actually ship masks overseas at reduced rates so they could give their family and friends overseas some masks from China. This shows really, if you want to do business in China, you have to care about the consumers, because otherwise they won't care for you.
Now I am at the back door of this commercial building because of the coronavirus situation. They closed the front door, so you can see people are there, DHL official. We are lining up to send a queue, and as you can see, more than people are coming here to send masks to their friends and relatives in other countries.
这就收走了啊，然后唯一能看的就是给您发一个短信链接，有这个，因为这比较麻烦，所以就现在就拍。
Now I have got the necessary paper, so I'm going to the DHL office. I want to share with you about the story of me sending masks to DHL, because DHL, they have offered this special discount from March 16th to April 16th. so that people in China can send masks, PPE, and Googles to their friends and relatives in 6 countries, including Japan, Germany, Australia, UK, and Canada, and the US. And this is the part we have seen where to show the humanity that DHL offers this special delivery with a huge discount. The price is just 1/3 of the normal price to send over products like below 2 kilogram. I have read the DHL WeChat post and I see thousands of comments that they appreciate DHL can offer this and DHL can deliver to destination about just 3 to 6 days, and it really helped their friends and families in other countries. What I want to show you is normally, because here is a really old area, so we will have street food, but I have never seen any in the past few days. Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. Normally there will be a lot of cars on this street, but now we are far from getting back to normal. Sometimes I will think about where they are, these people who are having their small business to do the street food. How are they doing? Have they even been able to make it back to the city? As you can see, we are still trying to recover from the pandemic. So, before we finish, you might have already discovered that my surroundings has changed. And yes, I have moved to a new place. So there are a lot of things going on in the past few weeks. In our next video, I will show you around about this new compound, but not only about me. I will also have interview with some of my friends and people on the street to ask them how they have felt from the beginning of the pandemic, and also what has changed. Meanwhile, the most importantly, what they have learned through the whole crisis. So let's keep in touch.
So Temperance got into her new apartment and she's going to give us new videos in the next week or two. And so this will be about the people and how they're feeling. But my observation about this last video is really that China is in a new normal post-corona that is not so much different from the period that we're experiencing, or I am, in Belgium during corona crisis. I mean, they're getting back to a new normal that is actually very similar to what we are having today. So I think the West should really look at that, because we have to be extremely careful and cautious once we get into the recovery, that we don't just let everything go. We have to do it in small little steps, just like China does. So stay tuned for the next videos. It's going to be all about people and how they feel.